hey there, folks. This is part 2 of 2 with spiritual coach and channeler Natalie Gianelli. She joined us last week, and if you haven't listened to that already, go back, listen. Y'all know how this works. If you have listened, this is the continuation from all of the things that we did last week. Only this time we answer the fun questions, and she actually complains about ranch. You're going to hear it. So thank you so much for listening. Tell your friends. Enjoy. We are back, and now it is time for the entrees. Okay, so since we were so lighthearted in the first section and didn't get into anything, we're going to just really go in now.
Perfect.
All right. What was your first job ever where the government was taking taxes out of your money? So like babysitting we've gotten as an answer, but like, you know, we do that under the table and stuff. So like, did you have something early on?
Babysitting under the table should be a whole different kind of babysitting.
We're not having that conversation on this podcast.
We're all going to get down here and read a book. I did cold calling for timeshares in Lake Havasu City, Arizona.
I never knew this.
Yeah.
How was that?
First of all, I did it for a day and a half.
So it was excellent. It was a defining part of your life.
I did it for a day and a half, but it was one of those. So it was one of those things that after the first day, by lunchtime of the first day, I was like, this shit is not for me. This is not my jam. So they were talking about, you know, the sales. Okay, here's your script. Here's what you do. And really, it was a really good deal because all I had to do was to tell people, look, you've been selected to get a free trip to come to Lake Havasu City, Arizona. We'll put you up in this hotel. We're going to give you meal vouchers. We're going to show you a good time. We're going to drive you around in a friggin' awesome whatever. Like, it's going to be great. And then we need 90 minutes of your time to tell you about timeshares. And you can take it or leave it. But otherwise, everything else is yours. That's how it works, right? Which is, P.S., it's a good deal. Okay, first of all, can I just, first of all, for anyone who gets a cold call like that or like receives something in the mail or whatever for a timeshare, go fucking do that, please. Go experience a random place in, I don't even know, like Charlotte, North Carolina, because they want to show you a good time. They are needing 90 minutes, aka 2.5 hours of your time.
Accurate.
But whatever. Like, do you get to be good at being like, thank you so much, Martin. I'm going to pass on the, I don't know, 2-bedroom freaking shenanigans every other week and the points value that I have to, whatever. Like, it's a lot. But go take the vacation.
Well, I want to point out, and I don't know, we didn't plan this, folks. Do you remember when we went to Vegas and I was the one, I organized the hotel situation and you and I had to go sit through a timeshare presentation?
Yes.
And there were 5 of us on that trip, 5 of us on that trip.
Yes.
And you and I both got aggressively terrible food poisoning.
Yes, we did.
And we were the only 2 people that went to that presentation.
Yeah.
And that was the only thing different about what we ate or drank from everybody else.
Yeah.
And you and I were violently ill.
Yeah, absolutely. Not common in a timeshare presentation, usually. They normally don't say, oh, by the way, you won't be able to leave the state practically because you'll be pooping your pants.
And we were taking turns sleeping in the tub and on the floor of the bathroom because we couldn't stop
That's right.
vomiting.
I do remember that. Oh my God.
I'm telling you, it's because we refused that timeshare. Like, so is it 2.5 hours of your life or is it your butthole for the whole next week and a half?
Your butthole. Oh my God. I had forgotten about that. Oh my God. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I
So
think it was
you can't
that coffee
say no.
It
was because we had lattes. It was rotten milk. I'm convinced.
Oh God.
But it was just the 2 of us. We were the only 2.
We did show them a good time there though. Like,
didn't we?
Like, it's the Kate and Natalie show. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Fine. Yes.
Okay, so why did you only last a day and a half? So you're calling people and you're saying, come do this thing. Were they rude to you and like hanging up the phone and stuff?
Sometimes they did, but I mean, by midday the first day, I was like, oh, this is not my shit. I'm not meant for this kind of work because I got Karen next to me, cold calling, 60 calls an hour. She's making blah, blah, blah bank. I was like, okay. And like, I'm getting Mr. Miller on the phone and I'm talking to him and he's like, oh, well, my daughter's going to the Navy. I was like, oh, I was thinking about the Navy. Is she liking it? Yeah, like I'm connecting with
You're talking to them about God.
Yeah.
You're like, can we get deeper?
Yeah. I was like,
something
oh, tell me. Because I was super young. But I was like, oh, I'm connecting with these people as opposed to trying to sell them a thing.
Yeah.
So after the first day, I was like, this is not for me. And my mom was like, you have to go back. You can't quit after your first day. I was like, okay. But it was one of those times in life where it was so clear to me that this was a no. I was like, oh, this is not for me. Like your heart's leaping and being like,
please leave.
You don't, don't, no more of this, please. So I went back the next day and I quit at lunch because I was like, no, like for real,
I really
this is
can't
not
do
my
this.
jam. And I am taking up a seat of someone who can make y'all a lot more money. Because
How old were you when you did that?
I must have been like freshman in high school.
What the fuck were they doing hiring a 14-year-old to cold call about fucking timeshares?
So my stepdad, I would call him my dad, but like my dad sold timeshares at the property. So I think they might have been like, just like, oh, come on in, hook up or whatever.
Child labor be damned. Get in here. Sell a share.
I mean, I must have been 15, right? I don't know.
Freshman year of high
But
school is like
14.
13, 14.
I
Yeah.
might have been making an exception. But that was not for me. But day and a half.
Well, you lasted,
Cold calling.
Good job, you.
Yeah. Although I do remember I don't know, you might get to this later, but so the first serving job I had, or the first like customer service job I had, was at the captain's table in, again, Lake Havasu City, Arizona. And I remember going to the interview, and I swear to God, I think I was wearing a Mickey Mouse sweatshirt for the
bless.
interview. It's, you know how the brain remembers the weirdest things?
Uh-huh.
And I'll never forget because I was interviewing for a busser position, and the manager at the time did the whole like 9 to 5 thing where he like leans back in the chair and puts his like feet up on the freaking desk.
God.
And he's like, I'll tell you one thing. If you get in this business, you'll never get out.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, well, that seems wrong. But also, he was definitely not wrong. like years, decades later, I was like,
God damn it.
damn it to hell, that dude with the boots on the table.
He saw my soul.
Like he cursed me. He was like, oh, like the Oracle at the friggin' like the wood paneled office. Like, this shall be your work until you choose a greater path. You know, freaking like, oh
he has
my
a scepter with a
dear
glow,
God.
like
yes, it's definitely like
something on the top.
from on top of everything that I did. Sounding like Martin Luther King.
Amazing.
Yes, definitely. It's not the energy. Yeah, go ahead.
How many customer service jobs have you had?
I think.
Well, let's add them up. So I think cold
yeah.
calling is customer service.
Okay, so there's cold calling. There is the captain's table as being a busser. I was a busser and a server at a place called Chagru's. Shout out to Chagru's in Lake Havasu City. And then,
So we're up to
the
3.
Hard Rock.
3, 4.
Yeah.
So you went straight from the Havasu City job to, well, you were at the Hard Rock for a minute.
Hard Rock was the first job I got when I moved to Los Angeles.
Oh shit, I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Was I working there when you worked there?
No,
Okay.
you had,
I was just hanging around.
yeah, you
as I
had
do.
since done your business had opened at that point.
Yeah. Got it.
Okay, so 4.
God, that was a beautiful day when I met you.
Oh, same. I remember that day.
Yes.
I wanted to be your friend.
So I think 4.
Okay,
4 or
and
5.
then would you
a little
count,
secretary job here and there, I think, maybe, but
would you count what you do now as customer service?
no.
Why? No is a totally acceptable answer. I'm just
Yeah.
curious why you don't.
Maybe I would need a definition of customer service. It
Oh,
feels
fair
like,
enough.
do you have one on
I
deck?
should. My God, you folks, I've created a podcast that I can't define. Okay, I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah.
So hang out, folks. I'll edit
Customer
this out.
service, where
Okay.
you
Hold
put
on.
your own needs aside for the needs of others temporarily and
So being
get
a-
to know your fellow humans in a way that is sometimes dramatic and often joyful.
Okay, well, according to the Googs, it says customer service is the support you offer your customers, but before and after they buy and use your products or services. That helps them have an easy and enjoyable experience with you. Customer support is more than just providing answers. It's an important part of the promise that your brand makes to its customer. That's not a fucking definition. Hold on. Okay, wiki, because that's always true. Customer service is the provision of service to customers before, during, and after a purchase. The perception of success of such interactions is dependent upon employees, quote, who can adjust themselves to the personality of the guest, end quote. Dear God. Customer service concerns the priority an organization assigns to customer service relative to components such as Okay, the problem with these definitions, if you're using the words to define the words you're trying, if you're using like, you can't define customer service by using the words customer service.
No.
You have to, there has to, so
No.
this is a terrible definition. Basically, it's a moving part that nobody seems to be able to.
So wouldn't we say that anything you do is
Bingo.
being of service to
Bingo.
like the all that is, right?
I think even being president of the United States is customer service.
100%.
I mean, bingo.
First of all, who wants that job? Good gracious
No,
God.
thank you.
God
no,
bless
thank you.
anyone who signs up for that for whatever reason they sign up for it.
Yeah. So in my vision, you actually do customer service, except that I think some people have the traditional thing of, help me fix my computer, bring me a soda or whatever. So in a traditional sense, that's what customer service looks like. But I think I think stripping is customer service. I think cleaning a hotel room is customer service. All of those things. I mean, those are two bad examples because they both receive tips. So that seems very obvious. But in your line of work, you obviously don't receive tips. But I don't know. In my purview, it looks as if what you do is customer service because you have people coming to you with in theory, with a problem that you are just helping them solve on their own, but you're helping them, you're serving them. I don't know. That's my
I can see that.
take.
Yeah, I can see that.
But you don't see it that way. So go ahead and please elaborate.
I see it a bit more like, I think, it's again, I think it's a Ram Dass quote that like, we're all here figuring our own shit out and then we walk each other home. I think it's that. I think I'm just being of service in a way to walk everybody home. And they're helping me walk home. Like, just show up, be kind, be awesome.
Nobody gets out alive, so who cares?
No, don't get out of here alive, friend.
Nobody does.
How do you want to show up for yourself, for others? Yeah.
Hello.
So let's just say like 7 or 8.
7 or 8. 7 or 8. Okay. Now, obviously you love what you do now. We're not counting actually what you do now as customer service, so that I don't even need to do all the preamble. Which was your favorite of all of those jobs? I already know what you're going to say.
I dug the Hard Rock a lot.
I thought you did.
I really, really did.
It defined a lot of your life.
100% it did. And I was so blessed to be a trainer for them. So I got to open cafes around the world, and it's such a rad gig for flipping burgers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pouring drinks. It was so fun.
How long were you there?
7 years, 7 or 8 years, I think.
A long time.
Yeah.
So did you get those pins that say how long you've been there?
Oh, babe. First of all, I still have those pins.
So do I.
Yeah.
So weird.
Because not that the Hard Rock's ever going to go under, but if it does, do you know how much it's going to be worth? Yeah, I used to pin it up. But I was down for the whole experience. You remember, I was down for the whole experience. I was like, oh, are these the rules? Perfect. Like if I go to the table and be like, how's it going, guys? My name's Natalie. Welcome to the Hard Rock Cafe. I'm going to be your server. Here are the specials today. Like I had it all down. And for someone who was shit at customer service or like sales when I was selling timeshare deals or whatever.
You sell the shit out of a hamburger?
I was great. I was freaking great at that job. I was great at that job. And I think it felt good to be doing something that I'm like, oh, I've got this down. I know my spiel. I know it works. I know which lines... because at the Hard Rock, you get to be a little bit cheeky, and like be yourself. So I would imagine that much like comedy, you figure out a set that works.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, well, every time I say this line, they
giggle.
all laugh. They all giggle, no matter who they are. I'm like, okay, perfect. Keep that one in. Oh, this one flopped. Put that one out, So
Cricket's not using it.
Yeah, right. Oh,
okay.
That doesn't work for the whatever. Yeah, so... I had a rad time, and I freaking loved the people that worked there. On the whole, Hard Rock attracts people who want to work there who are quirky and weird and awesome and doing their own thing and piercing that and the other and giving
Tattooing
zero fucks and
So I always said it was a ragtag collection of a bunch of wounded ducks that really wanted to have a good time. That was always my
First of all, I think that's a rad explanation of planet Earth, though. Like if the off-planetary beings are like, what's it like being on planet Earth?
It's a ragtag group of wounded ducks who are just down to have a good time.
That's the new Earth slogan. Like when they finally bring it out and they're like, by the way, there's off-planetary beings. Like, no shit.
Of course there are.
Oh, I'm sorry. We've got the whole freaking universe, and this planet is the only planet where life grows and actually is the intelligent. Get the hell out. Anyway, but yeah, that's an... I think you should write the UN immediately and just be like, hey, it might be preemptive, but
I have an
this is my Earth slogan really quick.
Where do I
the
submit?
Chamber of Commerce.
Where's the contact us form on the UN website? Okay, of those jobs, which was your least favorite? Oh, well, we already know.
God, I think so. Yeah.
I mean, you lasted a day and a half.
It just wasn't for me. Like,
not for you.
I'm also not great at secretarial work, though. I was always like, I'm not great at. No, just
You're a
'cause-
big picture person.
I don't know. I mean,
details.
I just
are-
was always like, is this where the stapler always goes? Shit. You
So
know?
I have to put
I
it there.
have to put it here. And These are where
Okay.
the things go. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think cold calling people was my
Least favorite.
Yep.
Okay. And what's the weirdest thing you've been asked to do whilst on the clock?
I don't know this answer.
So did you ever have a family that would come in to Hard Rock and, I don't know, the kids got real specific, like upset tummy from having been at Universal Studios. And so they need you to go in the back and use the microwave to heat up some oats and applesauce or something.
Sure. I
Okay.
think, yeah. Although, like, for me, I don't know. Like, that was kind of all part of the gig, I think. I was just like, oh, we doing this? Okay.
So just how to be of maximum service. You viewed it as that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I ever got asked to do something where I was like, that's a hard pass. I mean, I love so much listening to the other people on your podcast. And I'm like, holy shit. Someone asked another human to do that. Like, no way.
There's nothing that strikes you as odd that you were asked to do because you were just like, this is all under the umbrella of the job.
It's, okay, here's the one story that so when I was training at the Hard Rock to be a bartender, I was so excited to be a bartender and to follow the rules and to do it right. And, cause I've been a server for a long time. And so,
And real quick, I'm going to jump in to become, at least at the time when we were there, to be a bartender at the Hard Rock was that was the most coveted job, and you had to pay your dues. I knew of nobody that got hired straight off the street as a bartender right away. You had to go through the system because it was such a highly coveted job at the time.
yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's a better way to do it though, too, because once you've served tables or you've like worked in the kitchen or something, now how the other people in the other, positions work. So you're not a complete righteous asshole the whole time.
That's right.
Floating around on some sort of bartender hoverboard thinking you're amazing.
You get a drink.
Yes, everyone gets a drink, but only when I decide. Thank you.
The blenders are broken
It's just-
forever. No, they're not.
The hand raise, the man of white hand raise. Today there shall only be my ties because it is what I've decided. So I was training with, you can edit her name out later. I don't know. But so worked there for something like 30 years or something,
wow.
Like I think she's the longest running employee. She just retired, but she was the longest employee that Hard Rock ever had.
You're shitting me.
No.
And she worked at Universal.
She worked at Universal Studios, yeah. Or at the Universal
City.
Hard Rock.
Yeah, that is since closed.
And so
R.I.P.
I know, R.I.P. Took it all down.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
outta here.
Why?
Leave the freaking guitar up, for God's sake.
Hello.
What the hell? Where the fucking do it with that car? Get out of here.
No idea.
So training me to bartend. And the image of her, keep any of this, I don't know, because she's amazeballs. So she's at the time, I don't know what she could have been. Maybe early 50s? I don't even know. Maybe late 40s. So she's doing a great freaking job. She's an amazing employee, but I'm like right by the, what about follow the rules, be a good girl, this and this and this. So some guy asks me for a mudslide and I don't know how to make a mudslide. And I go to and I say, hey, how do you make a mudslide? And she goes, who asked for that? I was like, oh, that guy over there. She goes, tell him you won't make that pussy drink for him. I was like, I can't say that. Like I have to go.
You're like, this isn't Dick's Last Resort. I can't, I can't speak
I was
to him like that.
What do you mean? What do you? I was like, she goes, no. She goes, we're not making that. I was like, what are you talking about? Like we're
have
here
to make that.
the customer is right. Like, love all, serve all, and then take time to be kind. Like show me. She goes, oh, for God's sakes. And so she like shows me how to make a mudslide, and she goes over to him and puts a mudslide down, and she goes, that's the last time I'm making that pussy drink for you. Order something real. And then walks away. I was like, holy shit.
You're like, where's that in the handbook?
Oh my God.
I can't find it.
It was amazing.
I mean, that's pretty impressive. And so was there ever a time when I guess, because, I mean, we'll get there, but was there ever a time when you were waiting tables where you're like, if one more motherfucker.
Cider ranch. If I ever have to get a cider ranch for another human being again in my life, it'll be too soon. I never,
Why?
ever. First of all, ranch is delicious.
Facts.
And it deserves its own vocal
ramekin
tone, like, ranch. It is freaking delicious. And granted,
that
I
shit.
want it on everything. I
Same.
definitely want it on a side of fries. I definitely don't you freaking bring me honey mustard ever again in my life. Freaking onion rings, ranch, please. Yes, barbecue for a little, like whatever. Ranch. Definitely requires its own jingle. Ranch should have its own jingle. Like
Should
you now have the phrase for Mother Earth. Like
ranch needs its own.
actually, ranch is like, are you serious? Have you eaten us? We don't need shit. We could never
Our
advertise
PR is-
again.
And everyone will still eat us.
All of us are swimming in money. But yes, another side of ranch, and I was going to lose my freaking mind.
Why?
It's always a thing, and nothing came with ranch at the Hard Rock. Like there was like nothing. I don't think there wasn't a
Dish
that came with ranch automatically. So you always had to ask for ranch, or the customer was like, "Can I get a side of ranch?" But I just started to put it in.
I would have too.
I would be like, "Hey guys, welcome to Hard Rock Cafe. My name's Natalie. Who loves ranch? Who's gonna want a side of ranch?"
Who's wet at this table for some ranch?
Right.
Put your hands up higher.
Let's see it. I'll get a section, four tables in a section. Who
Touch
loves some
some-
ranch?
Touch some
Can
sky.
Touch
some
come
sky.
on. Can I get
Somebody.
some high fives for ranch?
Great. You get some. You know what?
You get
I'm
ranch.
bringing
Everybody just a tub of ranch.
bring you fucking
Water bottles
buckets.
of ranch.
Oh God, that makes me want to throw up.
God, the ladle.
Oh my God.
Oh, God. What? Yeah, gotta sit up. Oh God.
I mean, it's good, but that's too much ranch.
Oh God,
So
it's a freaking side. It's a side of ranch. And you know who? Okay, so Chris Plackett also freaking from another. I love him so much. Chris Plackett told me one time, "There's never such thing as a good server dream."
Ooh, that's
never-
so true.
It's
It's
the
always a
best.
server nightmare. It's never a server
100%.
dream. That's so right.
100%. You never have a dream where you're like, "Oh shit, everyone's tipping me 25%. This is amazing, and I'm always in control.
I'm on time
Weeds,
and
what
fully
weeds?"
clothed.
Yeah,
No
like,
weeds.
Exactly. There's no ranch or ketchup on my apron. There's never such thing as a
it's so
good
real.
server dream. He said. So in my server dreams, I'm always in the weeds getting ranch, getting sides of something that I forgot to bring.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Iced tea also, like,
Wait, why?
I will never to this day, including when I drink iced tea, which is almost never, but I will never to this day understand how quickly someone drinks an iced tea. Like, I don't know what it is. It drinks more quickly than Coke. Like, you set an iced tea in front of someone, that sucker's gone in a minute and a half, and they're going to need a refill. Is it because it's more ice, Kate? I don't know. Like, I'm actually asking for how you think it goes, because
It's not bubbly and it's
Maybe.
not water, so it's a flavorful flat drink. Maybe that's why. I don't
human
know.
mouths
That's so,
love it.
That's so fascinating. I've not experienced, or that's not something that sticks out in my mind as a member. That's so fascinating. So you knew as soon as they ordered it, you're like, this motherfucker's gonna ask me for a goddamn refill, and I am
4 minutes.
dear God.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other stuff. I mean, there's caffeine in that. There's a lot of
Yep.
there's a lot of stuff going on. I don't know. Maybe it's the perfect. But also, when that Hard Rock was busiest was in the summer and spring break. And by spring break, it's already starting to get hot here. And by summer, it's like, oh, your skin is melting off your body. So maybe
Yep.
it felt refreshing. I
It
don't
might
know.
be. It might. I mean, the tongue loves what it loves. But yeah, refills of iced tea, sides of ranch.
Ugh.
And it's just. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. What are you gonna do? But you're just like, oh, swear to God,
It's
stop,
so- it is-
stop eating ranch like that.
Yeah, because ranch seems to come up a lot as one of those things that servers hate. I don't have an abusive relationship with ranch. I don't know why. I just don't. It was not that prevalent in my existence. What is something that, were you ever asked to bring something that you were like, oh, this person has lost it? If they were like, we want a traditional kids sundae, but the hot sauce is on the side, the cherries on a different plate, the fucking whipped cream, we want 2 pumps of that or whatever. Do you remember having those?
You know what? So Hard Rock Cafe used to have a Cobb salad, and every now and then someone would ask for like 7 of the 8 things on the side.
No.
And then you're just like, so you just want the lettuce and the cheese in the bowl and then everything else on the side? And, so you're like, okay. And I don't know if it was like I want to put it on myself in delicate sprinkly
baby hands.
baby hands. I want to use my own
My child
fork
and sprinkle it on.
Like there's some sort of ritual, but like all things on the side, just
at a certain point, stay home. I feel like I have dietary restrictions. I need things modified. I think mustard is offensive. I don't want it on anything. Please take that off. But I don't ask for it on the side. I'm like, just don't put it on.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm an entitled bitch too, but I just don't understand. At a certain point, if your list of modifications is over 3, you can only eat at home.
Yeah, and like also I can save you some money by just getting you a side salad with some cheese. And then you could delicately
you save $24.
Yeah. Then you could be like, you could wink at me and be like, hey, could I get a quick side of bacon? And then like that's
Great.
gonna charge you I'm actually gonna save you money if
make it less inconvenient for myself and for the cooks and for everybody that hates you.
Yeah.
Did
like, can you scoot over? Like, do you want to help us with the new revised menu really quick? Do you think there should be a salad with just cheese on it?
Probably.
Delicious.
Did Hard Rock have a salad prep station? It did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not that the service touched.
No, right.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Anywhere that I've ever worked that had a separate person that had to do salads, they were angrier than the hot fry cooks. And I never understood why. That would explain it.
No. Because first of all, because I've worked in the kitchen too, and you've got like 60 different toppings in front of you, including like 2 different lettuces or whatever. And then you're in there with that metal bowl, just clang, 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 freaking like tossing that shit. And like, you're in there and then, every 4th person's like, oh, sorry, they wanted the dressing on the side. And you're like, I will murder. And no.
You're
and
like,
then
I gotta
then you got
remake it.
eggs and the cheese. And oh, God. It's like a buffet back.
That's what it is. And I've always said people, like a lot of comics like to do the joke of the Cheesecake Factory menu is too big. And absolutely it's too big. There's too many choices. No, thank you. Can you imagine being on the prep side at the Cheesecake Factory?
No.
And I hope to God they have a chef for each menu item, because if you are the only, like, how in midday shift they go down to like one person in the back, and it's like, right, but there's 67 people in the restaurant still. We need more than one cook back there. And can you imagine having to memorize all of that shit? And it's corporate, so you're getting quizzed. It's how many pinches of paprika? No, it's a pinch and a quarter. What? No. I don't know how they retain any sort of kitchen staff there and Hard Rock had a pretty big menu too. I mean, did they have to do, because I know they had salad prep, but then the people on the fryers, they did everything else?
So there was someone on the grill. There was someone on the fryer who also did desserts. So like the dessert person was also, the dessert person was also like on the salamander. So like heating up nachos, things like that. Then you had the fry cook and the grill master. I don't know. Yeah,
that sounds good.
Grill master. And then the salad person, and then the outside expo, who was, kudos, 1,000% kudos to the kitchen, to all of the chefs in the world. Kudos to all of the chefs in the world, because the Hard Rock Cafe had a lot of crossover on things. So like, bacon would come on the potato, whatever, and it would also come in the Cobb salad, and it was also in this thing. So you were using one condiment, one thing for maybe 3 or 4 or 5 different menu items. But and I never worked at the Cheesecake Factory, but you look at the Cheesecake Factory and you're like, I'm sorry, is this the only dish you have bolognese on? So you just got bolognese back there for this one dish that gets ordered every other holy shit.
Maybe every other day.
Yeah. Random. Yeah, the places with big menus, I'm always like, good for you, I guess.
I hope you're paying everybody in the kitchen minimum $35 an hour. You're not, but you
definitely
should be.
Not.
Because
but that's the genius of chefs. That's the genius of, because also, most people who work in that line of work, they're like, I freaking love this.
Yeah,
I freaking love this. Also, chefs love to hate servers.
Oh, they love it.
Oh,
why do
God,
they
love
hate
it.
us? Hate the customer who asked for the modification that ruins. I understand. I've had chefs say to me, that changes the whole dish. It doesn't even taste like what we wanted it to. And it's like, I got you. Like, I am not the one that asked you for no paprika. The Karen at table 16 did.
Yeah.
Please come out and scream at her about the flavor. There's restaurants, and I understand this, in Manhattan that'll do no mods, and they will tell you up top, and it's like short of a dietary restriction, which they will give you a separate menu for your particular palate. No mods. I get it.
I honor that.
I do too.
I honor that too, especially in places where, just like you said, where it's gonna change the name of, or the taste
flavor
of the dish. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't want freaking Karen go and be like, I don't know, I didn't like that. That's because you didn't take it with paprika.
Yeah.
Which is like the one ingredient that pops off in your freaking mouth. My
Sets
friend.
it over the edge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hate servers.
I'm so sorry. I've gotten us derailed. Okay. So weirdest thing, we got there. What's now? I seriously doubt you have an answer for this. Was there an incident that ever made them ask to speak to your manager when you were working there?
Yes.
Really?
But I don't remember the specifics of it, but I do remember. So this is the one thing that makes me want to like hide my head under a pillow.
Oh, I can't
but
wait.
I was at the Hard Rock, and most of my days, Kate, were so good there. And then every now and then I'd have a day where I was like,
This ain't it.
I'm burning it down. I'm burning it down, friends.
I'm gonna jump off a cliff or burn it down, or both.
So there was like a party of 15 or something in the pit by the bar, and I can't remember exactly if they had. I think I sat them. I think as a server, I sat them there, and they had to wait for a while, but then they didn't like where they were sitting, and I mean, don't quote me on this because I'll be whatever.
Too late.
I'm pretty sure that they were mouthing off just a little bit, and it wasn't like crazy teenage kids, family, and whatever. But there were a lot of people, and I was like, "This is what I have. This is what I have for you."
Meaning
And
the table,
this
or?
is this is the table I have for you. Blah blah blah. This and this. If you want to sit in another place, I can have you guys get up, and I'll put your name at the bottom of the list.
Good.
And
Good.
he was like, so awful to say this, but as it left my mouth, it was like one of those cartoon experiences where I was like, wait, that was way too mean and not even what I would do, and definitely wouldn't even be in the protocol, and definitely someone would have caught me by doing that. And they're like, what? Blah, 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 this, and I want to speak to your manager. So I send over somebody, I can't remember his name now, and so I can watch the interaction with them happen.
Yeah.
Right. And my face is getting flushed. I'm like, oh my God, I don't believe I freaking just, well, I was like, well, oh, no, okay. So back up. So here's what happened. I went to the manager. I was like, look, they want to talk to you. This is what, blah, blah, blah. And
were you honest? You're like, here's what I said.
No. I think I was just like, they want to speak to the manager.
They're crazy.
Blah, blah, blah. And so the manager comes back. He's like, so he says you said this. I was like, what? No. flat out denial.
Full bold-faced lie.
Full bold-faced lie. And he's like, yeah, that's what I figured. He goes, I told him Natalie's one of our best servers.
She would never
say that. So meanwhile, like, and I'm not waiting on them. I just sat them. But meanwhile, I'm just like, I just told a bold-faced lie because this person pissed me off at the moment.
And God bless whatever server ended up with them.
But that's okay too, because sometimes when you get someone else's table and they're already pissed, they're like, "Oh God, you're a new human. It's fine, whatever."
Yeah,
but
sometimes, not always.
But
so they asked to speak to the manager.
They asked to be the manager, and then luckily
your lie carried you through.
My reputation on most days carried. Like a better version of that would have been like, I'm sure Natalie is having an altered day because usually she comes off as really kind and loving. But no, I just was like, nope, didn't happen. Next question.
Suck my dick.
Yep. Bye. If it does not fit, not on brand for me.
Absolutely not on brand. See, that's the thing. That's why you take care of your reputation, because you can have an off day and they'll think that the person it worked in your favor.
So awful.
What are you gonna do? What was the last straw that, I know that leaving Hard Rock was sort of a toe in, toe out kind of experience for you because you had your business at the time, but was there a moment where you were like, oh, I'm never waiting on another table, or was it just a graceful exit?
No, I'd go back to it in a second. I would, honest to God, yeah. Like if the
for
whole,
real?
Yeah, if I woke up tomorrow and somehow wasn't able to channel, or I was like not connected to the all that is in a conscious way anymore, and I didn't know how to make money, I'd go back to serving in a freaking heartbeat, because I love humans and I love to be, I would be like, oh, okay, well, this is awful, and I'd have to wear the compression tights because I'm older and whatever.
Yep.
But you know, I think I'd just don that Southern charm, you know, like whatever. And I'd like, everyone gets called sweetie, and I'd freaking do it again. But I do remember back in the day being just loathing the thought of having to go to work. Like when I was still working 3 or 4 days a week, and I just didn't want to go. I didn't want to go. And
which is
losing my patience with people. And I was like, oh, this is just it's not my gig anymore. You know, when you're not having fun.
So was it enough of those shifts in a row where you said, I gotta quit? Or was it also that your business happened to be doing super well at the time?
Really, you know, shout out to Justin Peniston. Love him so much.
Hi, Justin.
Oh, because Justin at the time was like, what are you doing? You're making in an hour, channeling what you make in a day at Hard Rock. And I was just so fearful of giving it up because it was so familiar to what I knew, and I had connections with people, and I was fearful of just isolating myself and things like that. So, you know, I was really, really grateful for his leadership in that moment, because I think I would have stayed half in, half out for a long, long time. And that's the gift of the masculine, being like, that's right, friend, let me take your hand
There's
for a
this
second.
option
You're going to
over
be
here.
okay.
Yeah. Just jump.
Yeah.
Okay. And have you ever told a customer to fuck off?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
No freaking way.
No way. Okay.
I don't know if I've ever told someone in my life
A
to fuck
human,
off.
same.
I don't know if I've ever used those words. Oh, wait. Oh, shit. No. A customer, no. Were you working? No, because you wouldn't work there. So, oh, shit. Oh, my God. Oh, God. Gets me heated just to think about it. So there was an incident where I was outside Expo and...
She's making fists.
Yes. I mean, I know who it was inside, but I won't call out their name, but because it's no one that like necessarily. So inside Expo, and I was just, you know, I was doing outside Expo things and handling things.
Can you explain to the audience what that means?
Yeah. So the outside Expo is the person who handles the tickets. Once the kitchen makes the food, puts the food up into the window. So like a table orders 2 hamburgers, 8 sides of ranch, and a Cobb salad with 84 things on the side. So you collect, you're like, okay, all the food is here, and then you garnish it with whatever needs to be garnished.
So pickle or a
sprig of holly. Not holly.
It's a Christmas dish.
Yes, a sprig of parsley or whatever, and then you send it with a server or a runner to take it to the table.
You being, so because you are in the position of Expo, you are the one that hands it off to the server, yeah?
Right.
Okay,
exactly.
Great.
Or you'll say like, here, take these 2 things and
table 6.
Go your way.
Go.
Yeah. So the inside and the outside Expo have to work together in a loving, beautiful way. There has to be
inside versus outside.
Yeah. So the inside Expo is it's the person who is taking the tickets as they come in. And so they'll say, okay, drop 2 burgers. We got a Cobb salad coming, and I need a T-bone in 4 minutes, you know, or 4 minutes. Super raw. just throw it
barely cooked.
here. I'll catch it like a pitcher's mound, and we'll be done with it. So the inside Expo calls out to the other cooks.
To the kitchen. Okay.
What needs to be dropped. I need a side of fries dropped. And so that person is in charge of timing everything.
Such a hard fucking job.
It's a really, really, really hard job. It's a really hard job. So kudos to that person. God bless that human being that I'm thinking of right now, even to this day. But
so you were outside Expo, meaning you're on the other side of the line, grabbing what that human is putting up on saying, hey, these 6 burgers are done. Then you're the one communicating to the server or the runner, these 6 burgers are done. Take them to table 6, right?
You got it. You got it. So I had pissed off this person.
The Inside Expo.
Inside Expo. I had pissed off this person in some way.
Because it's so easy.
And I don't know how I did it. And I think I may have done it on another day.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
And they were holding on to it.
Honest to God. I think that I had said something. If my memory serves me, I think I had said something or like dismissed this person in another way, which shows you like just be kind at all times, at all days, whatever. So at one point, it's Friday or Saturday night. We're running, I don't know, 15, 20 minute ticket times. There's a line out the door, etc. And tickets are coming in, but I'm seeing nothing in the window. Nothing in the window, nothing in the window, nothing in the window, nothing in the window. And I'm like, so-and-so, what's going on? What's going on? I need some food. What's going on? You've got I can see that you've got 20 tickets right there. What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. This person's not talking to me, doesn't say shit, nothing at all. And then at some point, and the whole kitchen must have been in on it. So fuck them all. But so at some point, he then puts everything up into the window. So there must have been
fucking asshole.
So there must have been, I don't even know, 35, 40 plates. Now everything goes in the window and it's not together. So
Natalie.
Yeah. So
one burger for table 6,
but all the way on the left side and the other burger's all the way on the right side. And so he's scattered it.
This is a sociopath. This is someone who's chosen the sociopath experience.
This is what planet. Honestly what I think of, when I think about it back, I'm like, oh God, like
the level of vitriol that requires, especially because you can't even remember the incident. That it's as if you killed their grandmother in a drive-by, and then they had to face you again in real life. I would have done short of that. Who operates like this?
I don't know, but it was genius. Like if you're going to get back at someone,
that's how you do it.
This was freaking genius. So,
but why? But wouldn't it have not necessarily fallen on you if management saw it? Wouldn't they have known that was the kitchen's backup?
I for sure was talking to management. I was like, what's going on? What's going on? And I don't remember like what was happening, but
management sometimes gets in on that shit too. They ain't always trustworthy either.
Sure do too. Yeah. Like, and
so everything ends up in the window.
Everything scattered. Scattered.
Do you have an expo? Do you have one expo person running or one runner?
We have one runner.
Dear Christ,
Shauna was a runner.
Oh, bless her.
Bless her heart. Yes. So Shauna was a runner.
Does she see what's happening? She sees what's happening. Get what's going on here.
Yes. And she's like, what the hell? So all this comes up, and I freaking lose it because I realize at that point, oh, he's just basically tried to fuck me, and I was like, I will burn everything. I was so angry.
I've never seen you lose it. Did you yell?
I yelled. I yelled. I was like, what the fuck, blah, 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 this and blah, blah, blah. I was so angry I started to cry. I was like, I
hate that when you get that mad.
Fuming. Justin takes me back into the I'm talking to the manager, blah blah blah. He's like, getting me calmed down. I'm like,
was Justin bartending at the time?
So
he hears you
serving.
yelling?
I don't know. I can't remember. I think he was serving, but he might have been bartending. But
as you're yelling, is Shauna taking plates and like just trying to get stuff out to tables?
We're trying to figure it all out.
Jesus Christ.
Like it's so clear that he's just tried to, like he's just intentionally fucked me.
So do you have front facing tickets where you can be like, okay, I think that's a medium well burger. That's a fettuccine Alfredo.
This is the other things. Thank you so much for bringing it up. So, oh God, it's so great. Oh God, it's such a good way to get back at someone. God, I must have really fucking pissed him off.
You killed his grandmother in a drive-by.
Like, to this day,
this is epic.
It makes me want to stab people.
Oh, like, I'm angry right now.
I love humans, and I was like, if I ever see this person in an alley, I will
drive over them with my car.
Kick them.
I will drive over them with my car.
Like, what the Inside Expo does is he puts the ticket with the food. So here's your 2 burgers and a steak and blah, blah, blah. So he puts the ticket with the food.
He mismarks everything.
No, but he scatters everything out. Everything's in the window at the same time. And then he hands me a stack of tickets.
You fucking piece of shit.
And I was like, that's when I was like fucking losing it. So
does management come out to help you?
Yes, they did. But also it was just such an odd experience. I was like, oh my God. And so
I wouldn't have known what was happening. I would have thought this is so egregious. I can't imagine this is deliberate because I'm now at a 27 out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah. Like people who worked in food service industry, like again, it's a busy Friday or Saturday night.
You're getting your ass handed to you no matter what.
Already tickets are behind. Already servers are like, where's my food? Where's my freaking food? So he's fucked the whole restaurant.
So now you're also affecting the pockets of servers because they can't turn the table fast.
Of course. Yes.
And then
everything's fucked.
You hit the dishwasher too because that means all those fucking plates are coming back at the same
time.
And the bar's getting hit. You're an asshole.
Can you imagine how much I must have pissed this human being off?
You literally can't remember what you did?
I have no idea to this day. Like to this day, if I run into this person, I need to have a clearing conversation with them.
Yes, because I'm like, this is energetically
you
holding
must tell me what I did and let me literally get on my knees in devotion and apologize because like to have insane. That much anger.
So he hands you the stack of tickets
and I fucking lose it.
You lose it. So now Justin takes you back to the manager.
Angry, I'm crying. Yes. So what happens is I'm like, I'm done. I'm out. I'm fucking not going back there. Like and Shauna's like, I got it, I'll take it. So she steps in like a freaking boss. Her and this Inside Expo already had a good relationship, so that happened fine. I'm sure he helped her now to freaking figure it out. And I was done. I left. I was like,
you left the property?
Yes, I was out. I was like, I'm going home. That's it. And like they were like, yeah, you got it.
You, Natalie.
Well, I was so upset, Kate.
I would have been too.
I was so upset. I was so angry and just like crying angry, like fuming, seething. God.
So did management come out and say what the fuck happened, or did they just start dropping plates?
They just started dropping plates, but then later they were like, what the fuck? But I don't even know.
Was he
what
punished?
Ended up happening. I can't even remember. It's one of those things where like your life stops and like someone pulls it out of and like makes a snow globe out of it and like puts it on your mantle. And it's like, this one you'll deal with in 14 years. We will shake it up every now and then. Take a gander.
You'll talk about it when
it's
interviewed.
Like a little bubbled incident.
But
I was just it's like out of my body mad.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
And I would imagine if I were, because it wasn't like it was a soundproof experience. Granted, the Hard Rock is loud, so they, maybe the music drowned out your screams. But like, I cannot imagine. I can't imagine doing that to someone, but also being able to look them in the face after that. So was that your last shift at work?
No. I definitely went back, and I think. I mean, I must have interacted with this human being again and been like, what the fuck? What was that? And I think
would he just not speak to you?
I think there was just like a overpassing or maybe he may have addressed it and been like, I can't remember, honest to God. But yeah, it was one of the incidents where I was like,
I'm shaking right now.
Yeah. Like that's so,
because I know that stress and that pressure. I mean, Expo's hard. Yes. Granted, like it's not as hard as cooking. Inside Expo is enormously hard. Outside Expo is tough, but it doesn't, I mean, he just made that's sociopathy right there.
Yeah.
I would have told him to fuck off immediately. I say that. No, I probably wouldn't have been too scared.
Well, it was one of those times. It is one of the times in my life where I'm like, I will stab you. I was so angry, and if I wanted to this day I could still get that angry about it, like shaking angry.
I'm angry on your behalf right now in this moment, however many years later.
But even talking about it like this, it makes me feel better because I'm like, I must have disrespected that person to a level that I must have disrespected him, and for that I am deeply sorry.
But if people want to be
planning of that, it's almost delicious. Like,
I mean, he had to have gotten into work early. He had to have conspired with it, because you said it seemed as if
every other cook must have been in on it.
They had to have been.
Yeah,
had to have been. So knowing, because if they weren't, they would have seen all the plates stacking up and been like, "Bro, get them the fuck out of here. We don't have any room."
Yeah.
Oh, management should have fired him on the spot. To be honest, I mean that's got to be a one and done offense. But whatever, because that level of sociopathy, I'd be terrified to have them come back to work and figure out the next way they were going to fuck everybody.
Exactly right, and to like you said, to take the whole of that affects everybody in the restaurant.
The host, from the host to the busser to the, because now the busser has to clear all of those tables at the same time.
Yeah, no.
This is why you don't seat. This is why they say like, well, that table's empty. Why can't I sit there? For this exact reason. You have to tier it out how you seat people and how you serve. Otherwise, the kitchen, everybody gets fucked.
Yeah.
Oh, that is next level. That may be the most egregious story I've ever heard. I've heard nothing that tops that.
Oh my God. It was
nothing.
To this day though, if that human being is listening, I must have been so in the wrong and disrespected that human being. And for that, I am
How can you
really
take that
sorry.
on though? I feel like that's a choice that he made to hear something maybe in a certain way. Because if you can't remember, it would be different if you were like, oh no, I punched him in the face and because I was really mad, I totally know what I did. Or, I sold drugs to his kid or whatever. Like if you can think of something horrific, then I would be like, oh, well, that's, that was an appropriate response.
Sell cocaine to his kid.
Yeah. His kid's 12. You're an asshole. But short of anything like that, I mean, you think you'd be able to remember. But that's the other thing is people that work in these environments, particularly the Hard Rock, it was so many wounded ducks, like deeply wounded ducks, that you could do nothing. Yeah. And they will just put you on some sort of list. Yeah. And you're like, oh, I'm dead to this person? Yeah. I literally asked if they wanted a straw in their Coca-Cola. Yeah. And I am deceased. Okay. Well, RIP me, I guess. I don't understand. Yeah. Okay. How many bodily fluids have been on your person whilst you were on the clock?
I've never gotten thrown up on.
You lucky bastard.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would say, intentional body fluids, like, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, let's just say 4.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Did you ever cut yourself bartending?
Yes.
Happens all the time, right?
Oh yeah.
Would you still throw those lime wedges into the canister even if you bled a little bit?
First of all, never put a lime in your drink.
Never. Never.
If it comes with a lime garnish, squeeze that sucker and
That's
then
all you
put
get.
it on the side. Do not ever put that lime in your glass.
Your actual glass. I have said this to everyone who will listen. And
Do
people
not.
are like, yeah, but the acidic whatever will
Ask
kill
for another
whatever.
lime.
No. Yeah.
No.
It's not going to kill the blood.
Killed. No, and also like like we used to save those limes for day and a half. Kind of slimy sometimes. Slimy limes.
Slimy limes are going in your
Slimy limes.
drink.
Slimy limes. Like
Yeah.
No, don't put that. Do not put that fruit in
your actual cocktail.
Squeeze it, admire its beauty, and then
Put it to the side.
on a small napkin.
You can
to the
always
side.
tell when someone's bartended because they put it on the little coaster.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, even if they ask for extra lime, which you
Yeah.
can do,
Absolutely.
ask for 67 limes.
Yeah.
Don't put that in your cocktail.
Do not do that. treat yourself. Do not do
Treat
that. Treat
yourself.
yourself.
Don't drink someone's blood.
No.
Treat yourself.
Oh, it's just the sliminess, and like also
Yeah.
like servers have been in there
With their grubby little hands.
cans without gloves. Like
Oh yeah,
just
they for sure
digging.
wiped their buttholes in that
Definitely.
bathroom and certainly didn't. They didn't sing the alphabet. I'm telling you, that was not a 20-second wash.
Nope.
If washed at
If
all.
washed at all.
Why do you think they got those fucking signs up everywhere that are
Absolutely
like
not.
employees need to wash their goddamn hands?
Sweet, gentle
because
Jesus.
people that work at restaurants are gross.
That's how you
We're
work.
gross.
Humans are gross.
Humans are gross, full
Humans
stop.
are gross.
But it's an extra level of gross if you work
It
at a
is,
restaurant.
yeah.
Especially because you start to hate people midway through your shift or at least be annoyed. So the rules go straight out their window. And even at the high end places, even at the Michelin star
Yeah.
restaurants, I would argue that sometimes those are worse because you're extra entitled if you're eating at places like that.
Yeah.
Like you ain't just asking for ranch, you're asking for a BJ under the table. And they're like, well, then I'm not washing my hands.
That's
you dick. I mean, okay.
That's implying that you're giving the BJ. You're like, actually,
are.
I will, sir, but I'm not going to wash my hands before I do that.
100%.
Are we all okay with that?
Oh, I said what I said.
Dirty-handed BJs.
That's the next one.
It's off the menu, but you got to be a regular to ask for it.
And then you can get cocaine in the bathroom too. Dirty-handed
Yes,
BJs and cocaine
yes.
at this Michelin star
God,
restaurant.
yeah.
Okay. Do you tip?
God, yes.
Yeah, you tip insane. Be honest about how much.
I do tip insane. Although I will say this, because of your podcast, I started to tip Uber drivers. I didn't used to tip Uber drivers.
I didn't used to either before interviewing people on this. When Punky and Laura have said that they did, I was like, all right, I need to.
And so I started to tip Uber drivers, which feels great.
It does.
I'm like, another human being to give money to. That's awesome. Yeah, I tip a lot. I tip to a round number.
You're a 40%er.
Yeah. So that's how I know if someone's stolen my credit card, because if it ever comes up that they spent like $63.17 at a restaurant, I'm like, that's not me.
That's not me.
Because I would have made that 74 or whatever. Like I always a whole number,
Sure,
just
sure.
whatever. So yeah, I mean, I tip at least 20%.
You're a massive
if not usually
tip.
more.
No,
Yeah.
I've never seen you tip 20%. I've only seen you tip 30 plus.
Here's the fucking reason. Because when you're there and you think, you're like, oh God, like, should I tip $12 or should I tip $15? You're talking about $3, $3 that you could give to another human who is struggling with something that you know nothing about.
But they've chosen that path.
They have indeed.
So what is that to be of service? Is tipping of service?
Thank you. I think tipping is of service. I think it's just I think it feels good. Money feels
energetic.
good. Like money feels good to give and to receive. And yeah, like every time I stop to think about like, oh, should I tip that much? I think, are you taking a moment, Natalie, to waver over $3? Because give the human the $3, please. Like done.
That's
Yeah, like that's a law of the universe too. Like if you give more, then you get more to give.
That's right.
Like it's just
Can't receive money in a closed fist. as
Don't
they
be
say.
cheap. Yeah.
Yeah,
Any
that's right.
questions? Yeah.
Do you ever not tip?
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I know.
I really don't
Yes,
think
I
so.
believe
Like,
you. I've been around you.
I tip. Yeah, like
You tip everybody.
I'll give someone $1 for getting me a glass of water. Like, yeah.
But see, that's a bartender principle. I do that
Yeah.
too, especially like I rarely will drink going out just because I'm not a big drinker, but also because it's like, $612 for one cocktail. And I'm like, I'm not spending that.
Yeah, that comes. That's the dirty-handed BJ cocktail.
Now I'll pay for that. Okay. But But if you're getting me soda water repeatedly,
Yeah.
you're getting at least $1 every time.
100%, yeah.
Because you didn't add a spirit
Yeah.
to it doesn't mean it didn't cause effort. Also, most likely you're not charging me for that soda water.
Exactly.
And so this exchange you lost on.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and bless you with
100%.
$1.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, because I'm taking up a seat of someone
who could be
would run
tipping
up
you $5.
exactly, run up a bigger bill. Yep.
Yeah. Have you ever been stiffed
Oh yeah, of course.
at the Hard Rock a lot?
I don't think I got stiffed a lot, but I did get stiffed. Yeah. I mean, I think that's part of the program. Like if you call people to ask them if they want to take a timeshare tour, 9 people are going to hang up on you. Like you're going to get stiffed every now and then.
But I
And
guess
you just got to give it a
see, it's interesting because the reason I put this question on the podcast in the beginning was because I literally didn't, minus maybe one time in college when I was really shitty at serving. I never remembered not being tipped for most exchanges or all of them. Mm-hmm. And then working at the comedy club, it was 16 times. And there was one time I dropped 50 checks because it was a fast turnover of a show, and I got stiffed 22 times because it was awful. Wild. It was poorly managed and it was all the things, but I was just like, that's why I put it in here. Cause I was like, oh, getting stiffed is just a thing I just didn't have to experience. I was like, oh, it must just be at a comedy club. And then since everybody I've asked has been like, oh yeah, no, I can remember. I can remember times. Have you ever been fired from a customer service job? I already know.
No.
That's a no. Have you ever been fired ever?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I didn't think so. The worst customer, either an incident that you can think of or an archetype of the worst customer.
I mean, the archetype of the worst customer is someone who is just so entitled and they are, like they feel like they've done you a service by sitting down at the table and ordering anything. Like, friend, if it wasn't you, it would be somebody else. And if it wasn't anybody else, I'd be home early. So it's fine. Like
nobody's sad.
Nobody is sad at this interaction. So like this gets to be an exchange between you and I. Like, let's have a good time. Here we go. So the archetype is someone who's just so entitled. And this is something I remember. And I just, to this day, I was bussing tables at the captain's table in Lake Havasu City, and it's not even a bad story. P.S. It's not even a bad story, Kate. So like I feel like my horrible stories are basically like a 4 on everyone else's scale. Like,
no, that expo story is a 12.
Yeah, that's a 12. But so this gal said, she was like, excuse me. So I went over and she's like sitting with her friend, and I don't know. They were super old, probably my age now. But I was like, oh my God. But
these elderly white women.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we're 40.
And the guy was like, I'm having a little birthday today.
What's a big birthday versus a little birthday? What does that mean?
Okay. She was like, so, I mean, could you bring out a dessert, or what do you do? Because I'm having a little birthday. To this day, I don't know, the brain is weird, right? Because to this day, I'm like, I'm having a little birthday. To that statement,
so irritating,
sends me over.
Yes, it's so fucking irritating.
I was like, okay, well, let me get your server, because I'm a busser and I'm here to sop up the dirty plate that you eat off of after you sing yourself a happy birthday on your happy little birthday.
Sing your own chorus.
Yeah, like,
you harmonize with yourself.
Yes. I'm having a little birthday today. I was like, okay, well, let me handle that for you, but I'm not the person to handle. So I think it's just, that's not even bad, but I think it's self-righteous people who feel like they've done you a favor by ordering presence. Anything. Yeah. Also, what happens a lot, as you know, because we were talking about it a bit with podcasts, is that some customers want to give you advice on how to serve or how to live, or like, so, I mean, you're doing this, but what do you really want to do?
That is such an offensive question.
I'm like,
what if it's this?
I'm doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
What if everyone only does what they want to do? How about that? This is what I want to do for right now. Like, how about asking me, like, what do I enjoy about this? Or what do I think about the kids that are starving and dying?
If one more fucking person asked me that today.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The self-righteousness, I think, or like the
entitled.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, now we're on to the good stuff. We hoped you saved room for dessert. What's the nicest thing a customer has done for you whilst you were working that you can, of memory? Obviously from that timeshare, you probably have a great story from that.
The nicest thing a customer has ever done for me.
Why is this the hardest question for everybody?
Kindness itself is just rad. Like when people are like just overly kind. Dovetails into another question. But so who used to host Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Well, Aisha Tyler does it now.
Back in the day.
Drew Carey.
Drew Carey?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
Let me look it up. Drew Carey.
Drew Carey.
Or Greg.
Okay.
Yeah, he was in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Drew Carey.
So Drew Carey came in with a bunch of people one time, and I waited on their table.
This is a Hard Rock.
At Hard Rock, yeah.
Okay.
And he was so nice.
I've heard
like
that.
he was just not entitled at all. I think it might have been one of the celebrity type people that I knew because I'm usually bad at that game. I'm like,
You are
did
bad
I
at
go
the
to high
game.
school with this person? You're like, no, that's Megan Mullally. Oh shit. And he was so nice, and there was a good deal of them, and everybody was nice, and he was like making sure that I was okay. And
He's from
checking
Ohio, so that's
In
why.
is he? Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
See?
that's why.
Perfect. And it was just nice. Like when people are like, hey, are you good? Are you okay?
And they mean it. You can tell when they mean it.
Yeah.
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 And it's not a date flex. It's
Yeah.
no, I actually acknowledge it's seeing the human
Yeah.
in you.
Exactly.
So you would say, so the nicest thing a customer has done for you is like checked in and like been kind?
Yeah. Checked in, been kind, just nothing. I don't have any like grand,
It's okay.
amazing story, but
Did you ever get tipped out the ass by someone that you can remember?
I remember Drew Carey tipping me an extra $100.
Hell yeah.
So like whatever he tipped on the bill, he gave me another 100, like $100 bill. And at the time that was, I mean, first of all, that's a lot of money anyway. Doesn't matter. But I was so touched that I got teared up, and I was like, that's so nice. And I had never had anyone tip me like that.
It's kind.
Yeah.
That stuff stands out.
Like an extra.
It's a thing on the thing.
Yeah.
So is that the best tip you've ever gotten?
I think it is.
Yeah. Okay. Can you think, besides Drew Carey, was there a customer that stands out that you're like, even if you can't remember their name, that you're like, oh, that person was amazing? Some sort of interaction, or they told you some sort of loving story, or you were extra kind to them and they pulled you aside and said, you had no idea what it meant today. I'm having a really bad day. You know, you really turned this around for me. Or I don't know, my dog just got hit by a fire truck, so I'm really excited that you were lovely to me. Some sort of something like that. I think you do it so often. I doubt you'd remember.
Yeah, I don't think nothing stands out with like waiting tables or that sort of thing. Restaurant people, like not the customers, but like, you know, back in the day also, when it was completely appropriate to like offer your opinion on how people were built, like working in a restaurant did amazing things for your self-esteem, because almost all everyone was like, that skirt looks great on you, or like,
Damn.
your ass looks great. Oh, well, thank you so much.
Still got it.
Yeah. What I really, you know, not using my job at the moment as customer service, but I remember that when I got the news my brother died, that I had to call the people that I was going to have sessions with the next day and be like, and this is before I had an assistant and things like this, and like I had to call and tell them that had happened. And one of the people who was brand new, had never had a session with me, she's like, oh my God. She goes, is there anybody you want me to call? What do you want me to do? Is there anything you want me to take off your plate right now? I know.
I just want to cry.
I know. Oh. And I just, like, she didn't even know me.
Wow.
She was like a brand new client. And I was like, oh my God. I remembered that for years. And I just met her in person maybe a couple of months ago. And she was like, I don't know if you remember.
You're like, oh, I fucking remember.
No, because I didn't remember.
You didn't? Oh,
I
well,
didn't
that
remember who it
time is
was.
such a fucking...
I didn't remember who it was.
Yeah.
But she said, I was one of the people that you had to call after your brother died. And, you know, we talked and blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh my God, are you the person who offered? She goes, yeah. I was like, holy shit.
You've no idea.
Amazing to meet you. You have no idea how much that touched me and stayed with me for years.
Wow.
My brother's been transitioned like 15 years ago. So like,
What a brand.
Yeah. Beautiful humans. Humans do beautiful things.
Yeah, they do. I actually wrote a note. That's ironic. I wrote a note, Brian Death, on here because I was like, I wanted to bring it up in the context of how, you know, I think it's very easy to look at someone who has a spiritual practice the way that you do, or does the line of work you do, and say, well, you haven't really been through it yet. So until you've been through it, you're not going to know. And so I made a note to ask you about it, but I wasn't sure when to ask about it. And yeah, that's ironic that it came up in dessert. He passed away in not a great way. And did that send you on a different spiritual journey, or were you already on that journey?
I was already on the journey. Yeah, for sure. But so he drowned suddenly when he was 25. So we got the call, but I was already on the journey, which was awesome. Like, because I was already aware of the fact that the veil is pretty thin, and that when we're here, we're here. And when we're not in the physical, it doesn't mean we go away. Like, we're somewhere else. So it was, I mean, so startling. But my brother also lived a life where on a certain level, I think I think there's some part of him that knew that he was like, I'm only going to get 25 years. So I'm going to dance through the streets of Prescott without my pants on and like, be weird, So yeah, my spiritual practice was so helpful because I didn't have any doubt who he is, who we are, is not created or destroyed.
That's neat.
Yeah.
What's the best lesson that you have personally learned from having worked in customer service?
People are good. People are awesome. People are incredible. I believe that people inherently are good. I believe that to be true. Yes, absolutely. And I think that we catch people on bad days. We catch people not in their best selves, which is why they act the way they do, which is true for, in customer service or any job. Like when people are acting like assholes, it's not who they really are. It's truly not who they really are. And even if it is who they have become, they become that because they're wounded little ducks. Mm-hmm. They're hurt, So it was incredibly helpful for me to learn and to practice that if someone's treating you like shit, like this has nothing to do with you.
It's not your business.
It's not your business. And they're having a bad day. And can you be kind to the people who are unkind because they did you the most? And
it's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard.
It's a practice.
Yeah, it is.
It's a practice. Yeah.
So what's one piece of advice then that you would give to customers who interact with customer service workers?
So like be kind, obviously, because that's like the...
that's the circle jerk, like, or the blowjob under the table with the dirty hands.
Exactly right. Like be kind should just be like that's a given. Like, hey, wash your hands after you poop,
and be kind.
Are we not all doing that already? Do we need signs? Like,
clearly we do.
Be kind to humans. Be kind. I'm always surprised. Ask how the person's day is. Ask like, hey, how you doing today? I'm always surprised that when I ask that, people are like, thanks for asking. I'm good. Because I don't think that people in customer service get asked frequently, how's your day? How's your family? Never. How's your shift going?
Yeah.
Oh, I just started. Well, welcome to your shift. Thanks for coming to work today. Thanks for coming to work. This is a magic thing that I want to write a book about almost, except it'll only be a 4-page book. The magic words, if you ask them, if you say them with authenticity from your heart, are thank you so much for coming to work today. Because people have a choice every single day to get up and either decide they're going to turn their Uber app on and drive, or they're going to show up to work. They're going to, thanks for coming to work today. I get to have a food because you're here. I get to not have to walk in the rain because you're here. Thanks so much for coming to work today. It lights people up like you wouldn't believe. You got to try it. Now you can't be an asshole and be like, hey, thanks for finally showing up to work today. But
why doesn't that land? I don't understand.
Yeah. But it lights people up like crazy. Like you have to, honestly, everyone has to try this. I want to start a movement because just thanking a person for like, thanks so much for making the choice to get up, get yourself relatively clean and smell fine and
fine enough.
Do it today. Thanks for getting up and doing it. Thanks for getting up and being part of the
human experience,
of the human dance here with us. Yeah. Thanks so much for doing it. And I think it lights people up, but I also think it speaks to, we've got a choice. You got a choice every single day to get up and do what you're doing.
That's right.
You're never somewhere that you don't want to be because you can make a different choice.
What about prison?
There are ways to get out of prison. You don't have to be there. There are ways to get out. There are ways to get out.
You ain't even miss a beat.
There are ways to get out of prison. There's one way or another. Like you don't have to be where you don't want to be.
Okay, girl.
But yeah.
Well, was there anything
Power of the mind.
Hello. Was there anything else you wish that people knew in the customer service realm, either as an employee or as someone interacting? Is there anything you just wish people knew?
It's going to sound so cliche for my brand, but like we were talking about with like Mother Teresa. Also, I feel like she gets quoted too often. Like
that's a lot.
I mean,
she lived to be like 600 though.
Did a great job and all, but like there's other people doing. I don't know. shout out to Mother T.
What up, MC?
But I think it's cliche, but I think if you realize that you're interacting with the essence of God through every single person that you're encountering, like you're meeting Like as Mother Teresa said, you're meeting the Christ, which is like Christ consciousness. The Christ isn't like Jesus, but you're meeting God. You're having an interaction. You're having a connection with the all that is, divinity, love, light, whatever you want to call it. If you believe in a higher power, if you believe that we have a collective consciousness, you're interacting with that every single time that you're speaking to or walking past or having a connection with another human. If we lived like that, it gets real different real quick.
In what way?
Another way that hits at home is, how would you interact with someone if you knew it was their last day on earth?
Kick them in the teeth. I mean, if they're about to be done, might as well beat them up.
I mean, like, did you Inside Expo today, though? right before you make your transition, I got a little something to show you.
And it's not my butthole.
It's not. It's not the under the table.
Dirty handed PJ.
Yeah, I mean, like, that gets me every single time. If you knew, I mean, my father, an amazing human being, also was like, people are struggling with something you know nothing about. So be kind. If you knew that someone's mother had just died that day, how would you ask them for that coffee? How would you walk past them on the street? How would you let them merge or not merge into the, if you knew straight out that someone had just had a pretty intense human experience, it changes the way you have more compassion for the way that you interact with this person. And that's the most amazing shift that we can make at any given time. It's like we get to decide. A friend and mentor of mine, he tells this story about how they were camping in this campsite, and there's rules for camping. Like the other person doesn't come in till like noon. You have a whole, you have till noon to get out or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And these other people had come in and they were like starting to set up, but not really set up, but they were in their campsite. They were in their, kind of starting to set up. And the people that had already been there were kind of pissed. Like, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Like, so there's rules and this and this and this. And like, they're kind of talking amongst each other. Like, what the fuck do these people think they're doing? It's so rude, this and this. And finally, one of the people that had already been camping walks over and starts talking to them. And turns out they had been evacuated because of the fires. So watch what happens to your body immediately when you know that. Now suddenly, like, you start to feel tingles. You're like, oh my God, bring it on in. Do you guys need anything to eat or drink? Like, where you want to set up your tent? Like, how, like, let us move out. It's fine, blah, blah, blah. Like, what do you guys need?
It goes
suddenly
from
it could make
prickly
me
to
cry.
complete.
It's
Yeah,
like,
me too.
when you suddenly know what someone's working through, then you immediately have compassion. And the fucked up thing is, everyone is always
Working through something.
They're always being evacuated from the fire.
Oof.
Like,
That's real.
like humans, we choose this beautiful, beautiful experience, and then we choose to walk through the stuff that is so devastating. And anyway, so I think that's what I learned that's what got ingrained in customer service, is that you just don't know what someone's working through.
Well, your dad ingrained it in you too with the AFGO, another fucking growth opportunity. Like,
I forgot about AFGO.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everything is, right?
Yeah, my pop.
especially-
Yeah. Like after he made his transition, I was looking through his journals, and I know I told you the story that, like, he would write down AFGO, and I was like, what the fuck is AFGO? And then somewhere he put down another fucking growth opportunity, and I was like, hell yes.
That's life
all it
brand.
is.
That's all it is.
It's a life brand. Yeah.
That's all we're doing.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, how can people get in touch with you, Natalie? Do you want people finding you on the socials, or is your website the best way to get in touch with you? How do they find you?
Website is good. Yeah. So my website is nataliegianelli.com.
Spell it, please.
NATALIEGIANELLI. nataliegianelli.com. And I'm on Facebook, but I am also on Instagram, Natalie Gianelli. I also have an Instagram called Thank You Money. That's a fun Instagram. Yeah.
I did not know you had that.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
And if they want to know more about what you do, book a session, get in touch with you, all through your website.
All through my website. Easiest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
How would you summarize your brand?
Holy shit.
She didn't know this question was coming.
What a great question. Humans are rad. Be rad to them.
Great. Well, folks, we're going to drop your checks now. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to help us out here at Service from Hell, we'd love to have you subscribe, rate, and or review the show wherever you listen. Something's going on with Apple. Hopefully by the time this airs, it will be solved. I've had listeners be like, hey, I rated you and my rating didn't change. So whatever, we'll figure it out, but it will help us reach more people that need to be schooled on the art of being kind and will be catharsis for those of us still working in the industry. If you want to get in touch with us here at Service from Hell directly, send us your receipts at servicefromhellpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Remember, if you can't afford to tip, you can't afford to go out. So don't be garbage and be good to people. It's easier that way. Thank you so much, Natalie. I love you. This was fantastic. This was a short ass episode, no time at all. And it was just over.
You're lovely. I love you so much.
I love you. Thank you for being on. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us. Good night.